Okay, sorry about that. Let's call this meeting to order. Welcome one and all. It is the July 25 edition of the Trinity County Planning Commission. Commissioners Fraser and Horde will not be with us tonight, but we have a quorum, so we will continue. First item on the agenda is public comment. Is there any public comment? Do I have to read this? Okay, if there's public comment, then members of the public may address the Planning Commission concerning matters within our jurisdiction which are not listed on the agenda, and to request the matter be agendized for a future meeting. No action may be taken on these matters at this meeting. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Commission. Justin Hawkins from Hayfork. So the comments for the
Mary Beth.
EIR.
It's a trap, it's a trap.
I'll wait.
Okay.
You just got a couple extra seconds there, Justin.
No, go ahead, Justin. You might as well use the extra time.
So the comment period for the EIR has gone ahead and expired. So I wanted to go ahead and maybe mention to the commissioners some really good news that happened over the month of July. The governor's trailer bill was signed by Governor Newsom, and it included AB 97. And AB 97 provides 2 more years of CEQA exemption, statutory exemption, for cannabis projects. So previously we'd had 2 years, and it was going to expire on July 1st of this year, and it was sort of what was pushing this, like, oh, we got to get the EIR done. We're going to have to do the ordinance update of the EIR. It's going to take 5 days and 30 hours down there at the Performing Arts Center. Well, the good news is that actually pressure's off. We've got 2 more years to get it right. And I mean really get it right, because of there's so many problems with the EIR, though it was drafted. You could you couldn't even shake a stick at all the issues. But if you looked at what the alternatives were, all it was a bunch of sticks. There was no carrots in there, very little carrot. Very little incentive to get in the program. I mean, they were going to give us 20% more square footage to use for everything. But all the rest of it was just restrictions. But everybody needs more veggies, more carrots. So I think the program could use more too, not just sticks all the time. And I'm hoping that the EIR is redrafted and recirculated. And there's some of us that have asked for that. But the good news is that AB 97 lets us get 2 more years to get this done right and not get railroaded. We were going to get railroaded like you've never seen coming up. That's what August was going to be like. You got to pass this, or we're not going to have a program, and the lawsuit's going to win. And just we can put that down now. That's the good news. So it looks like I got 59 seconds left. Just kind of shifting gears a little bit. With all the new turnover in the planning department and the new director, I thought it might be appropriate to kind of bring something back up. It's not really my issue. Actually, kind of think of it as something that the commission was interested in. That's Class K housing. And the commissioner's absent tonight really, I think, helped a lot drive this topic. And just maybe the commissioners could ask planning department and later about where that might fit into our schedule, because as a voting citizen, I feel it's really important. Now, I have a cannabis license, so I don't get to apply for Class K. And everything's got to be fully permitted. But there's a lot of people in this county that do need it. And I think with the fires and the lack of really good contractors and just the Trinity ethos is like do it yourself. So we need Class K, and I hope that it's something that we can find time for in the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I like the thousands of seconds.
Distracting.
Don't run over.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Tom Belenko, Douglas City, being Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. I made the similar comment a few weeks ago, but since we've had some tectonic adjustments since then, I'll say it again. The Commission commented afterwards when I suggested maybe we start thinking proactively about the general plan update. I know we're going to get a consultant to do it, and they can all do it. I think the Commission, I forget who it was, commented that, yes, we've had some good work from consultants. We've had some work from consultants that had some things to be desired. I'm not saying that we have to write it in-house ourselves, but I think that there's two things you look at when you're talking about a general plan. One, it's got to be legally sufficient. I'm certain a consultant can hand us something that is legally sufficient. The other thing it needs to do is really reflect the community. The more it reflects the needs and desires of our community, the less it's going to have to rely on this legal sufficiency, because people aren't going to challenge it, because it's going to be an organic document that came from the community. So I again would suggest some form of maybe ad hoc or working group or something to at least begin a dialogue. Let's see how we will interface as a community with this consultant, rather than just writing a check to an outside firm to come in here and think they can figure out all the nuances of Trinity County, which I don't know if any of us can do that on our own, but I think if we put some heads together, we can come up with a document that I think is accurate and tends to reflect the various opinions and needs we see in this community. And I think that'll go a long way to shoring up this legally sufficient document that a consultant can provide. So anyway, food for thought, and something to get me towards my 20-minute prediction. Thank you.
Spare you this time.
Seeing no other commenters, we'll close public comment. Next item is minutes from June 13. I would recommend we continue this item to another date, since there's only 2 of the members that were present at that, and I'll be abstaining. Motion to continue, anybody?
I move we continue the minutes until the next meeting.
You don't have to check.
Yep.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, those are continued. Moving on to item number 4. Where's item number 4? This is a variance request. Request for an annual variance from the required 350-foot cannabis cultivation setback from a neighboring residential dwelling located at 370 Fir Meadow in Hayfork. APNs 019-320-06 and 019-340-39. Applicant Alioto. Staff.
This variance is located in Post Mountain, and the consultant, Downriver Consulting, is here in case you guys have any questions. I did want to clear up the 2 different addresses. I really should have just listed both addresses of both parcels on the location on the agenda and on the staff report. There was confusion there. Going forward, if there's 2 parcels with 2 separate addresses, I will list every address.
So the address in the summary is one of the parcels, and the address in the project description right below that is the other.
But both APNs are listed in both.
Thank you.
So we do cover the location. And then, so there's a letter of support from the neighbor that's within 200 feet of the cultivation site. And no other comments were received, and staff recommends approval. Do you have any questions?
Commissioners, any questions of staff?
I have none.
All right. This is a public hearing. Anyone who would like to speak on this item, please step forward.
Good evening. I am Deidre Brower, and we're representing Mr. Alioto in this variance. As Bella mentioned, there's a letter of support from the neighbor that is within the 350 feet setback of the neighbor's dwelling. And I also wanted to just mention that when Mr. Alioto purchased the property, there was a lot of old, unpermitted, sort of haphazardy type greenhouses and structures on the property. So he's done a lot of cleanup. He got all of that cleared off of the property, and has done some improvements on there. He is building a home and has plans in to the building department for greenhouses that he's proposing to build on the property. And he had a temporary state license last year to cultivate and had won an annual license. Has been applied for. We're still waiting to get that back from the state, but it is in process and has been for several months at this time. And it is in Trinity Pines, as you'll notice on exhibit attachment 3, there's a substantial number of gardens in the neighborhood. And so with the 2 lots, there's a very small amount of space that is outside of the variance zone, which he was cultivating on last year, and he's wishing to expand that so he may, utilize the full amount of the license and help pay for the improvements on the property. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.
Questions for the agent? Thank you. Really are going for 20 minutes.
I'll go for
Tom Delanco, Douglas City. Good evening once again, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. I don't necessarily know this property. I haven't been to it. I do know Trinity Pines. I did see before and after pictures. So I tend to support any variance application going forward in the Pines. I think the more properties we can get in the program there, the better. I think it sets a great example. In this case, clearly this property has improved what was the status quo there on this specific property, which I think is really one of the main intents of our commercial cannabis program anyways, to improve our lot. So I'm in favor of it. I think it's the right application of a variance, and I don't know if all the places in Trinity Pines can turn over to legal cultivation, but I really respect the ones that are making an effort, and I think we ought to support them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Commission. Justin Hawkins from Hayfork. I think that, I think probably everybody knows how I feel about the annual variance at this point, so I'll just skip on to some of the other stuff. I think the maps on this, it's hard to make a good map in the Trinity Pines, so I just wanted to say, like, kudos on whoever did the mapping. That's really pretty good. I think the maps all the way around look great, and the copies are wonderful too this time. Thank you. And you look at the current site conditions photo on attachment 4, and it's a well-graded area. It looks tidy. There's some straw bales looking like they're getting ready for some erosion control. But based on the comments of the cleanup of the site, I think you get an impression that licensing can be a restorative process. The licensing can be the mitigation for a lot of trash and other problems in our community. And then when people have the ability to make money at home, they'll continue to invest and put restorative features into their properties and contribute to the well-being of our environment in Trinity County. So with that, I would suggest you approve this variance. Thank you.
Thank you. John, you're the only left. I'm not encouraging you.
Carol might speak.
Yeah, right.
John Brower from Junction City. I encourage approval of this variance. The applicant has put an awful lot of energy into cleaning up the property. One of the few folks willing to participate in the process in that area could be an example for others. Thank you.
Darrell?
No comment.
Thank you. We'll close public comment and then bring back the commissioners. Thoughts, comments, motions?
I'll go ahead and make a motion.
Please.
I move that we approve the commercial cannabis variance application CCB-2019-022 to allow the reduction of the cultivation site setback provision outlined in Trinity County Code 17.43.050.A.8 from 350 feet to 200 feet from the residential structure located on APN 019-340-38-00 and shall be subject to the following findings, the findings of fact and conditions of approval as stated in the staff report.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? No discussion. We'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Brings us to item number 5. And Okay, it's on the agenda, I'll read it. Request for an annual variance from the required 500-foot cannabis setback provision as stated in Trinity County Code to allow a type 3 commercial cannabis cultivation site to be located closer than the required 500-foot setback from an adjacent property line located at 1651 Forest Service Road 7 North 23 in Salyer. APN 008020-2 and 008020-3 and 008-100-2. Applicant Ott, that's it, right? And staff, I think there's a note in here from staff.
There is, yes. Comments were received on July 16th. This project had already been noticed for public hearing. The comments, however, received on the 16th warrant further analysis and evaluation before moving forward with this project. So staff does recommend that you do open the public hearing. It was noticed, and continue it to an undetermined date.
Which will require renoticing.
No.
That's been our.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. You got me thinking.
So when you say no, you mean yes.
It will need to be renoticed because it's an undetermined date.
Right.
If they had a specific date, it would not need to be renoticed.
Okay, any questions for staff, commissioners? This is a public hearing, was noticed as such. Would anyone care to comment on this, realizing that this will come back to us for a further public hearing at some point in the future, date to be determined? Seeing none.
Tom Blake of Douglas City. Yet again, good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. I'd like to see staff being proactive on the variance with the CUP. I think it would be nice to bundle these together so you hear them at the same time and maybe fold this variance into the CUP. I know the ordinance is written awkwardly, to say the least. I don't know if that can be done, but it sure seems like it would be better for staff and the commission's time if we could make this into one noticing, one hearing, one staff report, etc. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Seeing no other public comment, we'll close the public hearing. I'd like to entertain a motion to continue.
I'll move to continue this item to a date uncertain.
I'll second.
Motion to continue, and second. Any discussion of the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This item will be continued. I would encourage also that last comment we found that it comes with the CUP and we hear it at the same time if that's possible. Thank you. Item 6, matters from the commission. Anything, commissioners? We'll talk about schedule. Okay, so.
I'd like to bring up one item that I've talked about a couple times in the past, and that's the issue that happens during public comment when people request that things be agendized or that the commission consider them. And one of the issues that I have is that our minutes just basically state the name of the person who spoke at public comment. And there's no way of, unless you listen to the tapes or the video, of actually remembering or finding out when people asked. And I asked for this a long time ago, a year and a half ago or something, that we have some sort of spreadsheet or mechanism for tracking these requests. Some of them are not possible to be implemented, but I think that we need to be responsive to our constituency. And, whether it's, there's been ones like, there's been a whole slew of them that have actually come up. Just thinking the quarry down in Junction City was one that there was a lot of interest in, and what was happening with the use permit and the trucking and all. I remember that was one. There's been a variety of them that have come up that people have asked for the commission to consider. And so, given that we have a new director, I'd like to put this on your radar screen. See what happens.
Good comment.
Thank you.
Anything? Next item, director's report.
Ooh.
Blew right
60
through
seconds.
20 minutes, that's because of certain members of the public.
Okay, just two housekeeping items and then an update. So there'll be, as I'm getting to know processes and in past procedure and current, there's a few changes I would like to make. It'll be coming for the staff packets. You will be seeing a resolution with any action taken. It may be a short resolution, but there will be just, right now you're referring to the staff packet for findings and the information, and that will now be with reference to the resolution. So that is for record keeping. It is a way to keep track of actions taken and the business, because staff reports come and go, but a resolution signed by the chairman is a way to know that that was the action finally taken. And so you'll be seeing just a short resolution with the adoption of any action that you're taking. As the minutes, we'll be returning to a summary. Is your question?
Yes, so is this a resolution that will be signed like at the next commission meeting? Because obviously, and you're talking about it being signed by the chair? Because obviously you're not going to, unless you bring a printer, you're not going to be able to give us a resolution of what we did tonight.
Okay. So every jurisdiction, I've worked in 3 jurisdictions before, we do this all the time in those jurisdictions, and that is you have one printed, ready to go, and then if there's a change, then we call the chairman and ask them to come in and change it if there's a change at the meeting. So we anticipate, it's anticipation, it's not, so we have a draft document for you to review in the packet. Now things change, obviously, we don't know
Yeah,
what's
we
gonna happen.
change them a lot.
Yeah, and that's okay.
It
And so
depends how generic the resolution is.
Yeah, that is true.
and
That
for
is
something like a
true.
variance, it's gonna be very, very simple. But when you go back and you're looking for records, it is the way to know the final, what really happened. A staff report can't show that. And so I think just for housekeeping, record keeping, that would be a good way to go. It's a recommendation I have.
So somehow the resolution has to incorporate the motion, right?
Yes.
The details of the
The
motion.
details, the CEQA findings, if applicable, and the vote.
Yeah,
And we sign.
often we change those.
Yes,
It's-
very often.
Yeah. And that's not a problem. We.
Well, it could be a problem to the chair driving from Hayfork, say.
Well-
I mean, I sign contracts all the time that are scanned and.
Well, that's true,
emailed,
that's
so
true.
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could scan it to me.
Sure. Yeah,
I mean, not that
absolutely.
I'm chair, but.
Yeah,
At some point I will.
It does change
You know something I don't know.
every year. So, doable, and overall, I think a very good reflection of what's happening, and again, going back and doing research, a very good thing to have.
Yeah, no, I'm not objecting to it
Just
at
how
all,
does it
just
work?
want
Okay.
to know how it works.
Yeah, yeah, things get changed, and that is fine, it is just a draft, that's all it is, until it's signed, it's just a draft.
Okay.
But how quickly do we need to act on something that we have approved at a meeting? I mean, does that mean does it need to be signed that night, the next day, a week?
It's
How
always
far do you-
better if it goes with the draft, if everything should coincide, there's no changes,
It can be signed.
it can be signed that night.
But if there are changes?
If there are changes, it,
It might take a few days or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how that affects the timeline of things that we're approving or not, whether it changes appeal periods or anything
No,
like that.
no.
Because there wasn't a signed resolution that denied something and then they can't start the clock on their,
No, not at all. It doesn't affect that. It's just for record keeping
Okay.
and reflection, and, yeah. We'll give it a go and see.
so is that gonna happen at our next meeting? or-
Yes, I wanted to kind of give you a heads up before it shows up and you go, what is this in the staff packet? So, yeah, and so when the motion is made, instead of referring, like I said, instead of referring to, you know, the information presented in the staff packet as contained in the resolution, it'll be right there in a nice, neat format.
That's right.
I can send you guys an example if you want to see it.
That would be great.
Okay. And the second thing is that meeting minutes are going to go back to a summary format. The amount of staff time it takes to do the verbatim minutes is excruciating and draining. And so with the video and the audio, that if there is a question on a conversation, discussion that takes place during the meeting, and there's a question on that, those would be the resources to go back. And I feel confident, hope you do as well, that that will answer the question. That'll be a good resource to have if there is a question on something that occurred during the meeting. Do you have any concern on going back to a summary of action items format, similar to what the board of supervisors has in place?
I have no objection to that. I would ask that we do the verbatim if, for some reason, there is no recording of meetings.
Yes.
Otherwise, I think your suggestion is fine.
Verbatim hard to get without recording.
Yeah. That would be.
Because we get the verbatim from the recording.
So we need to make sure we're good to go.
Yep, backups.
Okay, last item is an update on the cannabis program, EIR. And you did receive my email that the meetings that were mentioned for August 13th, 14th, and 15th will not be occurring. After reviewing the comments received and the amount of time it'll take in response to comments and to review those comments thoroughly, taking a step back and reassessing the calendars. A few ideas we have. Want to fine tune those a little bit more before putting them out to the public and the commission on the next steps, but they'll be soon forthcoming on future meeting dates and setting that calendar. So there is work being done. So I guess I'm not really reporting anything, just the meetings aren't happening, and I'll be updating you soon.
Do you have a prognosis of a date, of a time frame you're targeting in your own mind, or?
I do not at this time. What I can say is we are considering having workshops before public hearings to get more feedback from the public. And I'll leave it at that.
That sounds good.
And these would be actual workshops and not
Presentations.
just, yeah, well,
One-sided.
yeah,
No, it would be,
because that was pretty painful.
okay, yeah. No, it would be, receiving comments. What is the challenge? And members of the audience will probably appreciate this, is CEQA is so complex. It is such a complicated issue. And when you get to this, this scale of EIR and the importance of this EIR to the community, we're still on the CEQA part, and not the planning and ordinance part. It's looking at CEQA. Of course, they're associated, but the CEQA discussion is to receive comments on the EIR, understand more about the comments received, and receive that comment from the community. So it'll be very, open. Please tell us, give us more information so we can evaluate the next steps with the EIR. So yes, very much comment public to us who are listening. Now, in the CEQA setting though, it is very hard to respond to those comments in a meeting. So it will be us receiving comments, and there's not too much in that CEQA situation, that meeting situation, that we can offer back. And that's frustrating to people, and we understand that. But that is the setting of the situation and how it works.
And that's fine, so long as as at each meeting that it's made very clear
Right.
to the participants. and that the response isn't just, well, put it in writing.
Yeah, it is tough though, and starting like, when you start at EIR, the scoping period, the scoping meeting, the kickoff, that can be painful, and you may remember that, I don't know if you attended, but that's another one of those meetings where we're listening to you, but we can't really respond, and people want feedback, and that's a difficult thing. So it's like everybody knows that we are open to having workshops and hearing more from the community about their feelings about the draft, EIR, or what their feeling is on that. So that's the idea.
Thank you.
Two specific items we've heard. One has to do with a change in the CEQA checklist at the beginning of the year. Now, I went back and read that, and my understanding of it is it applies to CEQA that starts after the beginning of the year. This one started before the beginning of the year. Their date was sometime in December. But we should double check that that doesn't affect our EIR. We're going to get caught up down the road using a different checklist than what is current now. The other comment we heard tonight was that AB 97 impact. So we are in a wait state on any amendments to the ordinances because they allegedly affect the EIR work. The EIR would have to go back and consider the ordinance changes if we change the ordinance. Stacked licenses leaps to mind is one feature that was punted on largely due to the EIR. So, given that the pressure of the 2 years is relaxed, if we take advantage of that, we still are in a wait state on any amendments to the ordinance. Is that sound right?
It does.
Okay.
It does, but the timing is the timing is also a very complex situation, and we do need a new ordinance in place. So that is also, that strategy is also being assessed right now. So.
Did I understand that to mean that we might do the ordinance before the EIR? Or?
No,
Okay.
the EIR needs to be in place. It's just, does the ordinance come at the same time as the EIR, or does it come shortly thereafter? And that's the question on timing. And so yes, with the trailer bill, there's breathing room that we're all very, very appreciative of, and it does allow us to take that step back and breathe a little bit and reassess and kind of look towards the future a little bit more carefully. We do want to keep the momentum going, of course, though. That's very important.
One caveat on the doing the ordinance, and we talked about this, doing the ordinance and EIR at the same time, is that it's entirely possible the EIR we send to the board gets bounced by the board, at which point we would maybe have wasted a lot of time on an ordinance that, so I would like to see
That is the exact concern.
the EIR adopted by not only this august body, but the board before we wade into the ordinance that's derivative of the EIR.
And that's the thought.
Good.
But the timing, the ordinance, we don't want it too far out from the EIR. It needs to be really close behind it, timing-wise.
Fair enough.
Oh, boy, I did 14 minutes. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Scheduling for August then, for regular meetings.
At this point, we do not have any meetings, or any items on the August 8th agenda. And so I am reluctant to cancel it at this point, but it is very likely it will be canceled. The August 22nd, I am not sure. I do want to still check your availability for that week of August 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Possibly for a special meeting if it comes up. And if that does occur, we would not have our regularly scheduled meetings on the 8th and the 22nd, but maybe a meeting possibly the week of the 12th. Is that still available?
Is that a one evening?
One evening, not two.
Like the 15th?
Yeah,
I could do that. I will be gone the 22nd.
right. And,
I can do the 15th, I'm going the 8th and the 22nd.
okay, that's exactly what we were looking at that week.
And I can do any of them.
Perfect. Okay, we'll take note of that.
Just a little bit of history, since we've blown past 20 minutes. Um, This used to be a once-a-month venue, and at the beginning of the cannabis epoch, they added a second meeting to deal with the cannabis subject. There was a point in time when if there was insufficient items for a meeting, we actually wouldn't hold the meeting, or if there was a meeting at one item, it would go to the next regularly scheduled meeting. If there's any way to ever go back to the old ways,
It would be preferred by all?
no, some of us, I'm not speaking for anybody else.
Okay. I was looking at the other.
I would certainly appreciate fewer and longer if necessary meetings.
Okay, good to know. So I actually dug up the bylaws. Did you know there were bylaws for the planning commission?
Not surprised, but
I dug them up because I had a few questions, and actually, in the bylaws, there are 2 regularly scheduled meetings, not special meetings, originally set for 2. So, along that line.
So we'll amend the bylaw.
Exactly. I have a set ready for you guys to approve. I'm talking to county council about it tomorrow morning, and we will have a nice, clean new set of bylaws hopefully soon, at least presented to you, and get your comments and hopefully get something in place. It also allows for the chairman to cancel meetings with, it puts the parameters on cancellation meetings, voting quorums. So, I think it's a good document. We'll see what you think, and we'll get that presented to you soon. So we have those operating procedures updated.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Commissioners, anything else? That being said, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director.